until 8:30. Then Scott Hennon in the What's on Your Mind radio program. Once a month here on the program, we get to have a member of law enforcement come in and visit with us in studio. It's the Luther Family Ford Salute to Law Enforcement, and you hear it on AM 1100 The Flag. We have our all the biographies of the honorees on our website, am1100theflag.com as well. And on Monday, we had a chance to go over to Luther Family Ford and do a ceremony over there with the good folks over at Luther and some good people from the North Dakota Highway Patrol. And we are celebrating Highway Patrol this month during the month of October, and in particular, Trooper Todd Ebens. And he is the honoree this month in the Salute to Law Enforcement. He's been good enough to give us a little bit of time out of his Wednesday morning. Hi, Todd. How are you?
Oh, doing really good today. Thank you.
Thank you for coming by. We appreciate your time. It's already been an eventful day, I guess. You had some activity on your shift here earlier today.
Yeah, it's always busy in the metro in the morning.
Yeah, no doubt. So everything's okay? You had a little hit and run out there, but everything's all right now?
Yep, a little minor property damage, hit and run, but everything's been taken care of by another officer here in town. So
okay.
we got it all taken care of.
Very good. How does it change the work that you do when you start getting into here rush hour? People that live in Minneapolis laugh at us when we say rush hour, but when the traffic pace picks up a little bit, how does it change the work that you do when something happens around this time of day or in the evening?
A lot of the times when we're dealing with the heavy volumes of traffic, we're just kind of working with the traffic, going with the flow, just watching for different violations and taking care of, honestly, crashes that happen during those high volume times.
Sure. Is there a certain shift that you like better than the others? Do you like working the overnights or the early mornings or the afternoons? Does it matter too much?
It changes over your career. When you're younger, you seem to tend to like the night shifts a little bit more. Yeah. The older you get, you tend to like the day shifts a little bit more.
Yes, yeah, that makes sense. You've been doing this for a little while. If I remember right, 28 years, is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah, 28 years doing the job. That's crazy. What made you want to get into it when you made that career choice?
Part of it was I had an uncle that was in law enforcement, and it seemed to be a pretty good living, so I just pursued that and went that route.
Yeah, and why Highway Patrol? There's a lot of different divisions of law enforcement. Why did Highway Patrol seem like something that would be a good fit for you?
The Highway Patrol, it seems like you get out more. You're not confined to one small area, a small city. You can patrol a larger area.
Yeah, and how far do you go during a normal shift? How far will you be on patrol?
It varies day to day. You never know where a call might take us, but generally from Fargo here, you can probably get College Valley City, maybe down to Wahpeton, up towards Hillsborough area. Okay, so about an hour or so radius of home here.
This biography comes our way thanks to Captain Brian Newen from North Dakota Highway Patrol. He says, I would like to recognize Trooper Todd Ebens for the October Award. Todd is a 28-year member of the North Dakota Highway Patrol and is retiring at the end of November. Todd was hired as a trooper in 1991 and has been a trooper in Hazen, Bismarck, and most recently the Fargo area since 1994. Todd is the most senior member of the Highway Patrol Southeast region and is a resource for all of our younger troopers. He sets an example with exemplifying the values and traditions of the North Dakota Highway Patrol. Todd has had 24 years of safe driving within our agency, setting the example for the public during his day-to-day traffic patrol. Trooper Ebens has received dozens of thank you notes and letters over the years for his assistance with motorists, for his contributions during difficult crash investigations, for his assistance with our local, state, and federal law enforcement partners, and even motorists that were stopped for violations. Todd has always been a professional spokesperson for our agency. He's always been willing to lend a hand to another trooper, another agency, and the public we serve. He remains the North Dakota Highway Patrol Fargo Office Property Control Officer, managing our evidence inventory and coordinating with other troopers and the North Dakota State Crime Lab for evidence testing. Todd has also been a pillar of this community and has been involved in numerous ways through different organizations and volunteer opportunities. Congratulations to Trooper Ebens on his upcoming retirement and his selfless dedication to the North Dakota Highway Patrol, the state of North Dakota, and our citizens for over 28 years. From Captain Brian Newen, from the leader of the Southeast region here on Highway Patrol. So you've decided, Todd, that 28 years, that's a good run, and let's call it good. Tell me what you're looking forward to about retirement.
You know, I'm going to miss some of the guys I work with here, and I won't miss the winter storms having to deal with those conditions. I'm ready to go do some other things.
We threw in a winter storm for you earlier this year, just to give you one more on your way out the door, apparently, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. What is the biggest challenge of the job? What's the hardest thing about being a trooper, do you think?
Over the years, it's probably you're kind of married to the job. There's a lot of things you have to make sacrifices at times, and you miss out on some family events. You work the holidays. You might have your spouse and kids going off with their family, and you're staying back working. Things like that's probably the biggest challenge.
So how has the job changed in 28 years? How have things changed from when you started back in the 90s?
As you mentioned, the technology is probably the biggest thing. We started out with, basically a radar that had a front antenna. We did not have cell phones. We had a radio in our car that had 4 channels. Now our radios have hundreds of channels. Digital pictures. Now we have cell phones. It's amazing. We have mobile data computers where we type all reports on the computer now. Before we was handwritten. Technology has come a long way in this line of work. Overall, though, we still have traffic violations, the same as we did back in '91 when I started.
What the nature of the things that you do day to day, the calls you get, have those changed at all, or is it still basically the same kind of violations that have always been?
It's basically the same violations. As different laws come into play, gives us another tool in our toolbox. Like the texting and driving is a big one now. You see it all the time when you pull up to a traffic light. You look over to the person next to you, and their head's down, and they're playing on their device.
Yeah. Is the job itself, is it more dangerous than it used to be? It seems like it feels like there's just more chaos in the world as a whole these days, Todd. And I wonder if from your perspective, do you fear for your safety more than you did back in the younger days? Does it seem more dangerous out there?
It's definitely busier than it was. And as far as danger, the biggest danger, I don't want to say the biggest danger. A big danger in Fargo, though, is making a traffic stop with a high volume of traffic. And then we have to utilize passenger side approaches just for our safety. If you go on the driver's side, it's pretty dangerous.
People whizzing past you at 70, they don't get it.
Yeah,
right.
Not moving over, things like that.
Yeah. You've done this job here and then out in western North Dakota as well. Was there one place or another that you've liked living and working more than the others?
The scenery was nicer out west.
Yeah, true.
Feel more of the rolling hills and stuff. One or the other, no. They both have their positive points.
Yeah. So for a young person that's coming into law enforcement now, and God bless those that are, it's amazing the kind of people, the kind of good people that still want to get into law enforcement. We're so thankful for that. But what advice would you have to someone who's getting in the job now in the year 2019? What kind of advice would you give them as they're starting out in their career?
I'd probably say it might be difficult at times for you, but just kind of stick with it. In the end, you're really going to enjoy the memories you have from your years of service.
We hear so many times about a stop that's made, a tail light that's out or whatever, it turns into a big drug bust. Does it feel to you like drugs are sort of a common denominator with so many more stops? It feels like, from those of us who are just reading news stories every day, like every traffic stop seems like there's some drugs involved. Does it feel that way to you too, or does that just, we're seeing some of the stories and maybe feels like more than it is out there?
The media will tend to grab probably those stories because it is like, there's a large bust that's going to be publicized. But we do make a lot of traffic stops for tail lights out, a lot of speeds. I can't say there's more. Maybe we have some guys now that are better trained at detecting those violations and figure out who the carriers are.
Yeah. It's 8:15 here on the Need to Know Morning Show on AM 1100 The Flag, WZFG. We're visiting with Trooper Todd Ebens, and he is the honoree this month in the Luther Family Ford Salute to Law Enforcement. So here in another month or so, you're going to be leaving that old badge behind and calling it good and heading off into retirement. You have some things that you're looking forward to doing.
I'm looking forward to a little more family time probably, and then my passion is old cars, so I'll probably be playing with the old cars a little bit.
Working old cars. Okay, there we go.
Got a rebuild or two planned? Nice.
You talk about cars. Do you remember what your first car was that you drove on the job?
Yeah, that was a 1988 Plymouth Grand Fury.
88 Plymouth Grand Fury. Yeah, that's an oldie but a goodie there.
Yeah, it was an old captain's car. You know, it didn't have much, didn't even have a cage in it at the time.
Oh, is that right?
So it was just a standard tan interior. I remember we used to work aircraft quite a bit out in Bismarck area, and you'd sit alongside the road in the warmer days. If you had the AC on, the car would start overheating.
Oh, is that right?
So it was the cars have come a long way from then.
Thankfully.
I bet that really hauled butt, though, huh? Those old cars.
That one did not.
It didn't.
That was a pretty weak car. Yeah.
Oh no.
Really? Huh. Okay. What will you miss the most? What are you looking forward to leaving in the rearview mirror the most?
I'll miss my coworkers the most probably. I won't miss the having to be out in the stormy weather, covering the crashes in those storms, and shutting down the roads and doing all that stuff. I won't miss that anymore.
I can't believe how many times we hear about somebody goes around the stop arm on the freeway or something like that, or you're making a stop and you have to be wondering, is somebody come flying along at 70 miles an hour when they should be driving 30 and take all of us out? You got to think about that, I'm guessing, pretty much every time you get out of the car on those bad weather days.
Right, and even we'll have the gates closed, and there's times people will go around those gates. I don't think they realize that there's a reason they're closed, and we're out there probably doing something, and they might think the road's empty. But we're out there working, and sometimes having to clear cars off the road, and it's just people need to be more respectful of the signs. They're there for a reason.
Are you sure you're not going to miss that, Todd?
I don't think so.
All right.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Are most people good when you stop them? Are people, obviously it's nobody's first choice, but are people generally pretty cordial?
Yeah, generally pretty cordial. I mean, some of my traffic stops will end with a handshake even, so it's most people are really good about it. There's always people that are going to be upset, or they're a repeat offender.
Yeah.
And, they're
Frequent
stopped multiple
flyers.
times, and they're just not happy regardless of what happens. So.
Well, Todd, we thank you for coming in today. Congratulations on a great run, 28 years. Thank you, and thanks for all you've done. You and the team of men and women that work at Highway Patrol, do what you do. Keep it safe for the rest of us. So from all of us in the community, thanks for a good work, a good run, a great career, and we wish you all the best in retirement. Have a lot of fun and sleep in a little bit. Enjoy those big Thanksgiving dinners with the family. You've had to give up a few of those, so enjoy those in the days ahead.
You've earned them.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. Trooper Todd Ebens from North Dakota Highway Patrol, the honoree in the Luther Family Ford. Salute to law enforcement. Okay, time for another student athlete of the day here on the